Welcome. This video is a general tour of the Edmodo site and the Weebly sites that were created for the CampBioE 2016 summer camps. Now, the Edmodo site was designed as the overall learning environment for the students and the um, camp counselors to utilize during the summer weeks. Every day of the camp, the campers had various assignments, daily questions, various activities that they had to participate in. And one of the major concerns was that using a paper-based environment was not an effective use of time for our head educators who had to grade everything by hand, as well as for the camp counselors because things could easily become confusing as the camp manual itself was about 150 to 200 pages and questions had to be done on small note cards, be turned in by 24 students on a weekly basis. So, to resolve this problem, I utilized a free website, a free application referred to as Edmodo, to set up the actual learning environment as we see here. Now, this link, I'll just briefly introduce you how that was formatted. For the camp, there are 7 main tables that contain 4 students and 2 counselors each for every week. So as we look at each individual table, excuse me, as we look at each individual table, you will see that they had access to a variety of links on a daily basis. So let's start down at the beginning. Excuse me. All right. So during the first day, we had several things. First, we had survey questions that they had to be asked. These survey questions were questions that basically were the initial assessment determining how students' knowledge was, their general background, etc. And this was used in a statistical analysis, and I will get to that in a few minutes because this was then tied to Weebly, and Weebly was the website that I used to streamline the questionnaire process because there were several questionnaires that they had to do, and to give them individually became very confusing. Also, since we switched over to an automated system that actually did the statistics, it was much easier since they were being provided links to have all of this located in one place. We also gave every student access to the camper manual. Our camp has a very limited budget, especially for technology, and which led to why I was using things such as Edmodo and Weebly, which provided free accounts. But the camper manual, being 150 to 200 pages, has a great expense to Xerox because we have to make 25 to 30 copies every week for 4 weeks. And it's also a very wasteful mechanism as far as resources with paper and ink, etc. So I took the actual file, converted it to a PDF, and students had direct access to that via this link onto their little tablets that we got for them. Of course, there were last day surveys, which were actual replicates of the first day surveys, which I talked about a few seconds ago. And now we move on to the actual curricula. Daily of the camp, Monday through Friday, students were asked a variety of questions based on the various activities that either they're learning that day or days previous. And then this way, it was much easier to score some things instantly. And as we could score them instantly, then we can award points to the teams. And it was a much better manner for us to streamline the grading and point scoring process. Bonus questions, as you can see here. For example, who was the first African American superhero? And then the students can turn in either as a group or for their particular table, or they can turn in individually depending on the type of question and what the educator requires. And then groups of riddles, which typically ranged anywhere between 5 to 10 questions per day, and then those were graded individually. So, for example, let's look here at Tuesday's riddles. Looking at what was turned in, of course, some of the questions being multiple choice format, etc., as we would do in Blackboard, learning environments, or Moodle, etc., they would be graded automatically. But most of these questions, for the most part, were short answer questions, calculations, etc., and so the students um, had to answer these questions based on the information that they received. For example, this one, the equation below is incorrect. Can you move one symbol or only one number to fix it? And so the students had to figure out how to change this equation in order to make it correct. And as you can see here, we can grade this for each and every student. And then when we are finished, as we saw on the previous page, it will give us a overall breakdown of the students in general as to how much they got right and how much they got wrong. All of this could be entered directly into a grade book, or I transfer the information to a general spreadsheet. Now, that's the overall classroom as a whole, and students found this to be very helpful. They could go on automatically in the morning after they got, typically the first day on Monday, they had to understand what was going on. And of course, this year it was a little more complex because we had just implemented this, so our overall idea was still being worked out. But by the second day, students automatically came in, started answering their questions, knew how to log on to different things, had access to the different links, and things became more fluid. Also, things could be deployed at any given time. For example, as you see here, if students were unsure about different types of terminology, different links, they needed some resources that just out of the blue we didn't think about, I could push these to them. And as you can see here, for example, with the bioethics module, they weren't sure a particular terminology, so I would provide them with the terms and the general definitions for the types of bioethics, and so that helped them with developing a overall their final project, which was to present a bioethics discussion on a particular topic. All right, so as we go back to the survey questions, as we see here for the first day, for example, if we clicked on that link to see the Weebly site, I basically took the links that were provided to us from our statistician, and I generated this Weebly link for the sole purpose of making it easier for the students to access the surveys, which are grouped by buttons according to the particular survey. So, for example, the first day surveys is here. They knew that on the first day to go in and click that particular link, and as they clicked that particular link, it would take them to the login page. They had to enter a particular password, which we had available to them through their counselors, and then as they logged into the survey, all of the questions were there for them. We also did the same thing for the last day surveys. Now, the one thing we did find out, some of the students got a little confused because the way that the actual surveys were designed, there were 2 surveys given on the first day and the last day back to back. On the first day, students received the pre-evaluation survey as well as a pre-knowledge survey, and then on the last day they also received a post-evaluation survey and a post-knowledge survey. And so these 2 going back to back got confusing for many of the students. One, because At the very beginning of the survey, they would ask the general information. What was your tablet number, your initials, your favorite color? Because again, we were trying to do these as blind as possible. We did not want direct student information, their names, etc., given to our statistician, but we wanted some type of coding process to be implemented. And then some of the questions were worded similarly, which made the students think they were taking the same survey over again. And so that became confusing at times. And so, because of this, we realized that as the statistician was going through the information, the data, she would see that some students did not complete both surveys. So, in doing that, the students would either do the pre-evaluation and not the post-knowledge, the pre-knowledge, or on the last day the same activity would happen. And so we came up with a system where she would give me the tablet numbers or the favorite colors and the middle initials, etc., and I could call the student out, and then I can tell them, okay, go back to the Weebly page and take the pre-evaluation or the pre-knowledge survey. Most of them did not have to do the pre-knowledge survey. It was typically on the last day, so that link is not shown here for the pre-knowledge. And then lastly, for this page, our counselors also had to do pre and post surveys as far as their experience was concerned. And so I provided 2 links here for them as well, so they could go in and take their own surveys. So in general, that is the learning that's the learning environment that was developed this year for CampBioE. Of course, we are going to take this to a whole nother level. We are going, now that we have instituted this type of environment, which is very similar to a Facebook based environment, we are going to develop this more. We are going to implement more things such as more polls, images, etc. for the students to help, and videos to help them with their learning process during the summer. Thank you.